So I have a new client, and they need a website for their carb-free diet video product. So I go to the trusty Google keyword tool and grab a few hundred keywords. Carb-free, low-carb diet. Now I save the CSV file to my hard drive and start up Keyword Organizer. I create a new project and drag my file into the import box. Okay, I just filled up my gray list with lots of keywords. Let's see what we got. I can right-click on the global monthly search volume and sort from high to low. Let's see. The Atkins diet is a competitor of my client's product. So let's put the keyword Atkins on the negative keyword list. So now in the future, when I bring in new keywords, my project will blacklist the phrases that contain the word Atkins. I can check out the blacklist by clicking on the black swatch in the corner. But for now, let's go back to the gray list and let's search for some words we can use on our website. I'll type in the word carb in the keyword filter box and maybe sort by the ad group column. Let's see, low carb diet for vegetarians. That would make a good article topic. So I open my article tree and make a new category for vegetarians. My new article will encompass all 5 of these keywords, so I select them all and click Derive. So the keywords have been associated with my new article and move to the whitelist. I can see the whitelist if I click the white swatch here. See? And now, let's create some SEO optimized content. So I expand my content panel and fix up my title a bit. Low carb dieting. I can also set a publication date and type a meta description. Okay, let's create some content. Now I can look at my content tree and see which keywords I still need in my article. If the keyword is black, that means I haven't used it in my content yet. So let's add the word plan to my article. Green keywords mean that the entire phrase was found in the content. I want to make sure to include all of this top one here, because it has a lot of searches per month. I can press Ctrl+C on my keyboard and paste the phrase into my article. See, now the phrase is green. If I hold my mouse down over the keywords, then their location in the article content will highlight. Later, I should probably have a look around and find some more keywords for this content. But this is just a demo, so let's repeat our steps and create 4 more articles. Okay, you can see my website's content strategy is starting to take shape. We've got 5 keyword optimized articles about topics that reflect what people are actually searching for on the internet. Now, let's say we're ready to go live. I can export my articles to a CSV file, so if I use a CSV Importer plugin in WordPress, then I can import my content right into my WordPress database. And that's it. My content is online.
Hi everyone, we're going to take a minute to go over how Keyword Organizer can help you do basic SEO. So if you get down to the most basic level, doing on-site SEO might come down to just 4 steps. You gather a large list of keywords, select keywords for your website, assign these keywords to articles, and write the articles using these keywords. So let's get into a little more detail. In step 1, you gather a large list of keywords, and this usually means using the Google Keyword tool and downloading a whole bunch of CSV files to your computer. Typically, you'll use some sort of program like Microsoft Excel to sort these keywords into a format that you can work with. And then in step 2, you have to basically go through all these keywords and try to determine if the keyword phrase makes sense for the website you're building. And typically you'll have some sort of whitelist and blacklist marker, and if you put a little check mark in the whitelist box, then this means that you want to use the keyword phrase on your website somewhere. And if you tick the blacklist marker, then this means that the keyword doesn't belong on your website at all. So after you get done with this step, at least you have a pretty good idea of which keywords you're going to be targeting on your website. And then in step 3, you try to cluster your keywords into distinct article groups. So you usually create some article titles and you'll somehow assign the relevant keywords to an appropriate article. And then when that's all done, you actually write the article and you try to make sure that you use your keyword phrases in the actual article content. So in other words, you're making a so-called SEO optimized document. You're making a document that is reflective of this batch of keywords that you've assigned to the article topic. Okay, so that's basic SEO in a nutshell. Now, how does Keyword Organizer help you with this process? Well, this isn't a complete training video, but let's just briefly walk through the 4 steps again. And we'll try to illustrate how you might approach the task using Keyword Organizer. So in the first step, you gather a large list of keywords, and this step typically starts off at the Google Keyword tool, where you'll type in root keywords that are reflective of the topics you want to cover on your website. So in the example, I was doing a carb-free diet website, and so I start off by typing in low-carb diet in the Google Keyword tool, and I just save the CSV file to my hard drive. Normally, I'd want to go back and keep typing in creative keyword phrases into the Google Keyword tool, phrases that I think would yield some unique keywords. But for this video, let's just say I was satisfied with the few hundred keywords I got on the first run here. And so I download my CSV files from the Google Keyword tool and I import them into Keyword Organizer. And then I've completed step one. I've gathered a list of keywords that I can work with, and some of these keywords will ultimately be placed in my web content somewhere. In step two, I've got to choose which keywords I want and which ones I don't want on my website. So I have to whitelist some keywords and blacklist some keywords. Now, the way that Keyword Organizer approaches this problem is when you first bring in new keywords, it just puts all the new keywords onto what I call the gray list. So when a keyword is on the gray list, that just means that you haven't decided what you want to do with it yet. So you can see here are all the keywords I just imported, and I can just go through and click the little white swatch here, and that tells Keyword Organizer that this keyword is on the white list. If I click the black swatch, then the keyword is on the black list. The gray swatch just means the keyword is on the gray list. So there's a lot of value in this little function because it gives you a really easy way to separate the wheat from the chaff, as they say, to separate the good keywords from the bad keywords. And then when you finally have your good keywords on your whitelist, then Keyword Organizer allows you to create categories and create new articles in these categories. And then you can assign the keywords to the articles by simply dragging the keyword into the article. You can see after I do a drag and drop how the keyword has become associated with the article title. And once you kind of have your website laid out, what they call laying out a content strategy, then it's time to actually create your content. This is step 4 on the list. So that's what this third panel on Keyword Organizer does. So it has a basic text editor, and you notice that as you create your text, your content, the keywords that are associated with this article content will change color. Black means that the keyword phrase hasn't been used in the article yet. Orange means that portions of the keyword phrase are in the article. And green means that the whole word is in the article. And also, if you hold your mouse down on one of the keywords, then the keyword's position in your article content will highlight. So you can see how this is really very useful when creating content, because Keyword Organizer is constantly watching the document as you type, and it will tell you if you've used your keywords or not. So it does a pretty good job of helping you make what they call an SEO optimized document, a document where your target keywords are nicely scattered throughout the various document fields. And after you've written all your articles, then you're done. So if you use WordPress, then you just click the export button and export your articles to a CSV file, and then bring everything into your WordPress install. And then you just click publish and your content is online. So this is about as easy as the SEO process can get, and Keyword Organizer was designed from the ground up with this entire SEO process in mind. So my hope is it will become a very useful tool in your SEO toolbox and allow you to ultimately make websites that Hey everyone, in this video we're going to go over how you might import a list of keywords into Keyword Organizer. Now, there are hundreds of keyword discovery apps out there. My other app, Keyword Researcher, is one of these. It's a keyword discovery application, meaning that basically you provide the app with some sort of input and it will generate a list of keyword suggestions for you. Preferably, you'll use it to find these nice low competition long tail keyword phrases that the Google Keyword tool often misses. So we're just going to go really quickly here, and I'm going to start up Keyword Researcher and run the query how * camera. We'll just search from A through H and see what we get. Okay, so we got about 70 keyword phrases, and let's suppose we're building a camera website, and so we'd want to import these phrases into Keyword Organizer. So this is pretty simple. The first thing I want to do is just place these keywords into my Windows clipboard. So I might just select all, right-click on the keywords, and then just click copy. And then let's go to the Google Keyword tool to get some data for these keywords. So first I'm going to want to log in. You always want to log in when you use the Google Keyword tool. And next, if I'm going to be getting a list of keywords, I'm going to want to select this checkbox here that says only show ideas closely related to my search terms. Now the reason I do this is because if you don't select this option, then the keyword tool will look at your input as more as a kind of suggestion about what data it should retrieve. In other words, it will use a very loose searching algorithm and try to dig up a plethora of broad ideas that might reflect your inputted keywords here. But when you do select this checkbox, then you're asking it to mostly try to return just the data that pertains to your exact inputted request. So whenever you're entering a long list of keywords like this, you should usually check this box. Now I'm also going to click exact data here at the bottom left, And finally, I'll just right click on the text box and paste in my keywords. Now let's click search and let's download our CSV file. Okay, now let's start up Keyword Organizer. We'll start a new blank project, select the import export menu and import our new CSV file. And that's it. Here are the keywords and their data. So we were able to transfer a list of keywords from Keyword Researcher to Keyword Organizer, and we even managed to get lots of Google Keyword Tool data to come with it. So if you're watching this video, then chances are you've probably spent a bit of time with the Google Keyword Tool, and you've probably downloaded some CSV files and maybe opened them up in Microsoft Excel. And maybe you've tried to plan out a content strategy or even just needed to determine which keywords you'd like to use in a particular document on your website. So Microsoft Excel is pretty good for that. I've been using Excel since I was a little kid. I use it every day still. But you've probably realized that as your website gets bigger, as you start adding keywords and content to your website, then working with keywords in Excel gets a bit difficult pretty fast. So a major inspiration behind the construction of Keyword Organizer was to finally give people a way to have a real desktop database application that allows them to really get control of their CSV files, to finally create a robust solution for managing thousands of keywords on your website. So as with any database tool where you have lots of data, there's a pretty typical set of functions you're going to need. And so when I was designing Keyword Organizer, I made a list of things that I was personally looking for in an SEO tool at the time. And here's what I came up with. So first of all, it has to be really easy to import data, particularly the data from the Google Keyword Tool CSV files. Since Google's tool is so foundational to SEO, and those CSV files are kind of the bread and butter of the daily SEO grind, so it has to be easy to bring those in. Second, easy to search within the data. And third, easy to filter the data. Now, by filtering here, I mean when you create a filtered view, like when you only want to see keywords that have a search volume greater than 1,000 searches per month, for example. So it has to be easy to filter out some of the keywords by some criteria you specify. And number 4, the last one, it has to be easy to export the data. Like I mentioned before, I love Microsoft Excel, and for some things it's just really convenient to just have this simple white grid to lay out all your data. It's still really useful. And so exporting data to an XLS file is a pretty important feature. So those were my goals when designing the keyword grid. Now let's take a look and see how Keyword Organizer handles these tasks. So in requirement 1, it has to be easy to import data. So importing CSV files into Keyword Organizer is pretty simple. All you do is click import and then just drag the CSV files into the blue drop zone here. And that's pretty much it. It's simple. In requirement 2, it's got to be easy to search within the data. So searching for keywords is pretty easy. All you do is go to the keyword column and type in the words you're looking for. So on our example diet website, if I was searching for high carb, then I just type high carb, and we can see Keyword Organizer will just list all the words that contain this phrase. Now, if I want to see all the keywords that contain the phrase high carb and the word diet, then I just put an uppercase "and" here and type high carb and diet, and you can see the words come up. So it's cool because you can enter logical expressions right here in the search box, and that makes finding keywords really easy. In requirement 3, let's say we wanted to filter our data and show only the words that were searched for at least 100 times per month. So then I just type in greater than or equal to 100. And there they are. So you can see in this filtered view, we're just showing all the keywords in our project which contain the word high carb and the word diet, and have been searched for greater than or equal to 100 times per month. It's easy, and of course you can do this with all the columns. Now in the last requirement, requirement 4, we need to be able to easily export our data. So you can export to a CSV file, of course, but a cool thing about Keyword Organizer is that you can export to a native XLS format, meaning that you can export your data directly to Microsoft Excel, so you don't have to bring in that ugly data from a CSV file where you have to change column sizes and fonts and stuff like that. What we've done is we've already formatted the Excel document for you, so you can export your data as a native XLS file and then open it up, and you have a nice, pretty formatted Excel document. One of the most important but overlooked items in laying out a content strategy is the negative keyword list, or the blacklist. If you're not familiar with these terms, it simply refers to the list of words that you do not want on your website. So it might sound counterintuitive at first. I mean, why would you care about the words that you do not want on your website? But really, it's very important to maintain this list. What happens in the life of a website is you're continually importing new keywords, usually in the form of Google Keyword Tool CSV files or just text documents. So you always have this new data coming in. And so you don't want to get into a situation where you have to keep cleaning this new data, where you're always removing the same keywords again and again and again. And so that's why we keep a blacklist in Keyword Organizer, because once you blacklist a keyword one time, then it will never bother you again. You don't have to look at it again if you don't want to. So as in the demo video, if we were making a low-carb diet website and our competitor was the Atkins diet, then we could just click the black swatch next to the keyword, and this will immediately put the keyword phrase onto the blacklist. So if we want to get all of our keyword phrases that contain the word Atkins onto our blacklist, then we could just go down this list and select every one, or we could use what's called the negative keyword list. So the negative keyword list is just a list of words that should be immediately sent to the blacklist as soon as Keyword Organizer encounters them. So for example, I have the word Atkins written in my negative keyword list here. And so when I apply this list, then Keyword Organizer will look for any keyword phrase that contains this word, Atkins. And if it finds this word, it will simply send this keyword phrase to the blacklist. It will do the same thing when you import CSV files too. Any keyword phrase with the word Atkins will be sent to the blacklist. So how do you know which words to actually put in your negative keyword list? Well, you usually don't until you start working with your project. Your negative keyword list should evolve as your project evolves. What you'll find is as you're browsing through your list of keywords, then the words that do not belong on your website will start to pop out at you. And it's your job to get these words onto your negative keyword list so they don't bother you anymore. Now, fortunately, we've made this really easy in Keyword Organizer. For example, we can see the keyword phrase gluten-free diet here. Now, in the example carb-free diet website, we won't have much use for words about gluten-free dieting. So right away, I know that I want to add the word gluten to my negative keyword list. So this is pretty easy to do because when I right-click my mouse over the actual word itself, then we can see that Keyword Organizer will determine which word in the phrase I just clicked. And it will ask me if I want to send this word, in this case the word gluten, to the negative keyword list. So I just click it and you can see that Keyword Organizer has just added this word to the top of my negative keyword list. So if I click apply, then Keyword Organizer will search for these words and we can see I just managed to blacklist 24 gluten words on my project. It's that easy. So there's a lot of value in maintaining a negative keyword list, and it becomes apparent really fast as soon as your project has merely a couple hundred keywords or so. Even if you only use Keyword Organizer for just this one task, then it's actually worth it because when you're doing keyword research, you're always working to try to prevent this sea of incoming data from distracting you from your goal of publishing the website itself. So hopefully in this video, we're going to talk about how Keyword Organizer works with WordPress, particularly how Keyword Organizer is able to create a WordPress compatible document, a document that has all of the basic elements of a WordPress post. Now, of course, you don't have to use WordPress to use Keyword Organizer, but if you do use WordPress, then it's pretty cool because you'll be able to export your content directly into a WordPress install. So if you're watching this video, then you might already be familiar with content creation in WordPress. Basically, a WordPress post has 5 major elements. The title, this is just the title of your article. The permalink, that's the little bunch of text that makes up your URL. The publication date, that's the date you want your post to go live. The category, it's just the category you've made for the group of posts. The content, just the article itself. The excerpt. A lot of people don't use the excerpt, but they should. If you're not familiar with the excerpt, it's just this little white box where you insert a few lines of text. And in most WordPress themes, this text will be used to create your meta description. The meta description is just this little sequence of black characters that Google puts below the link on their search results page. So it's good to fill out some appealing text here because you can hopefully write something there that the user is going to want and that lures them in to click on your website. Okay, so how does Keyword Organizer handle these elements? So this is pretty simple. When you start laying out your content plan in Keyword Organizer, you start off by simply making a new category. So these little green icons represent the categories in the software, and so we'll make a new one. And our demo website was about low carb diet, so let's just name our first category low carb dieting. And then to make a new article in the category, we'll just click on the little paper icon, and let's say we wanted to make an article about low carb snacks. So we'll just type a quick article title here to start off with. And so just real quick, at this point, we'd probably want to assign a few snack keywords to our article. And this process is described more in our other videos, but I'll just throw a few keywords in there. that I would assume we'd want to eventually target in this content. Okay, and then we'll start making our content. So you can see this layout should be pretty familiar to you. On the top we have this black text, and that is of course the title, which you can edit here as well. And then you'll notice this little green text, that's the permalink, and it's auto-generated using the same rules that WordPress uses. It makes the letters lowercase and replaces the spaces with hyphens, etc. So, of course, you can insert keywords here as well if you want to. The permalink is very important in SEO and should generally surmise your article with just a few words. And then we have the publication date, which you can just click on and assign any date you want. And next to that, we have the WordPress excerpt. This usually becomes the meta description depending on your WordPress theme. And here you just type a couple lines that would kind of beckon a web surfer to click on your link as opposed to the other links in the Google search results page. So I worked really hard to try to make this interface as intuitive as absolutely possible. You may have noticed this layout here looks kind of familiar because this is pretty much the standard format that the search engines follow. See, you have the title, the URL, the date, and the meta description. I tried to follow the same formatting in Keyword Organizer. It's pretty similar. Okay, and then below all of this we have the article content itself. Here you just type in any HTML you want. So at this point, as explained in the other videos, we want to just make sure that our keyword phrases are present in the elements of our article. And we can verify that by examining the color of the keyword phrase. Black means it's not there, orange means just the word from the phrase is there, and green means that the entire keyword phrase is located in the article. So we'd want to make sure we get most of our keywords into our document in some form or another, and then we'd move on to the next article. So let's just speed up this process and repeat our steps real quick. Okay, so when our website is completely done and ready to go, we simply click the Export to WordPress button, and Keyword Organizer will generate a CSV file that WordPress can read with the CSV Importer plugin. And that's it. So in this fashion, we can lay out a complete content strategy. We can create, organize, and publish the content of an entire SEO optimized website, all from one piece of software.